Hello everyone, welcome to your partner in education, Agile Rank Mate. Today, in this episode of IIFT Insights, we're going to be looking at some sample questions of the IIFT examination. Today, we're dealing with logical reasoning. So, IIFT is the Indian Institute of Foreign Trading, and in order to get in there and secure a degree, you need to learn how to reason logically and answer some of those questions. So today we're going to be looking at a set of questions and how to solve them effectively. So let's start off, shall we? Now, here we have 5 questions and we have a single direction for all the 5. So let's look at the direction itself. In November, the answers of a prestigious test held nationwide were leaked to a group of unscrupulous people. The CBI have arrested the Don, the mastermind behind it, and 9 other people, PQRS, TUV, and X, in this matter. On interrogation, certain facts came into light. Their modus operandi consisted of the Don initially obtaining the answer key, then the other 9 persons created their answer keys in the following manner. They obtained the answer key from 1 or 2 sources. Then he or she compares the answers to a question from both sources. If the key to a question from both sources is identical, it is copied, otherwise it's left blank. If the person has only one source, he or she copies the source's answer into his or her copy. Finally, each person compulsorily replaces one of the answers, not a blank one, with the wrong answer in his or her answer key. The paper contained 150 questions, so the CBI has ruled out the possibility of 2 or more of them introducing a wrong answer to the same question. The CBI has a copy of the correct answer key and tabulated the following data. The data represents question numbers. So the wrong answers are written in a column, blank answers are written in another column, and the name of the person who made the answer key is also written in the third column. Now let's look at the questions attached to this. The first question is, who among the following must have 2 sources? Number 2, how many people excluding the Don needed to make answer keys before R could make his answer key? Question 3, both T and W were sources 2. And option 4, which of the following is definitely true? And we have 4 statements about introducing the wrong answer. We need to find out which of this is correct. And the final question is, which of the 2 groups had the same sources? Is it PSV, T, and W? So either one of them's correct, or either the first one's correct, either the second one's correct, or both are correct, or none of the above. So these are the 5 questions that we have. And as you can see, the question is quite long. So we would need to decipher it effectively. So in order to decipher that, we're going to use a version of this particular table, and we are going to find out the answers. Alright? So, first things first. When we look at the first paragraph, in the first paragraph, the most important information is that the CBI arrested 10 people, the Don, and the other 9 people. So that's the most important information from the first paragraph. So when we write first para, there will be a group of 10 people, and they created answer keys. Now these 10 people are Don, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, and X. So these are the 10 people who created the answer keys and created the scandal. Now let's look at the second paragraph. So if you were wondering what the second paragraph is, that lies from their modus operandi to the following manner. Now over here, important information, Don obtains the answer key, other people created their own answer keys. The manner is described in further paragraphs. So, Don gets initial key, Then we have the other 9 people creating keys. Now, the third paragraph, which starts from they obtained until his or her answer key, reveals a lot of information. Now let's read this paragraph. They obtained the answer key from 1 or 2 sources, and he or she compares the answer keys to a question from both sources. If the key to a question from both sources is identical, it is copied. Otherwise, it's left blank. If the person has only one source, he or she copies the source's answer into his or her copy. And finally, each person compulsorily replaces one of the answers, which is not blank, with a wrong answer in his or her answer key. Now, this is to make sure that they never get caught in the first place. However, that did not work. So, as you can see, the third paragraph has a lot of information. So, in the third paragraph, we're given the idea of how the answer keys were provided or created. Now, the answer keys were created by people and we can categorize them into 2 groups. The group of people who had one source to create the answer key, and the group of people who had 2 sources. Now, for people who have one source, the idea is pretty straightforward. They will copy the entire answer key, and that includes wrong answers and blanks. And the next step is that they will make one answer wrong. So that's how people with one source create their answer keys. Now, what happens if you have 2 sources? Now, if you have 2 sources, what you do is you compare the answer of each question from both sources. So, if the answers are identical, then you copy them. And if the answer is not identical, then it's left blank. So this is when you have 2 sources. And finally, after all of this, all of these processes, then they will make one answer wrong. So that's a step which is common for both people with one source and people with 2 sources. So these are the information that we've gained from the third paragraph. Now let's look at the fourth paragraph. The fourth paragraph starts from the paper contained 150 questions, and it ends until the data represents question numbers. Now over here, the paper has 150 questions. That's not important. But what is important is that the CBI has ruled out the possibility of 2 or more of them introducing the wrong answer to the same question. And again, another important fact is that the CBI had the correct answer key and they tabulated the following data. So we have the table thanks to the CBI tabulating these things. So, in the fourth paragraph, we do get one important fact which can lead us to a couple of deductions. So, in the fourth paragraph, what we get is this: 2 or more people cannot introduce wrong answer in the same question. Now from here we have 2 deductions. The first deduction is that if you have 2 answer keys with the same wrong answer, then that means both of these answer keys are copied from the same source. Now it's important to know that there won't be all of those answers won't be the same, the wrong answers. However, if you have one wrong answer that's the same, then you can easily conclude that they have been copied from another source, and that source had the same wrong answer. Now, the second deduction is regarding people who had two sources. So, if two sources show the same wrong answer, then that answer gets replicated. So as you can see, quite important deductions that we gained from the fourth paragraph. So now that we've gained the information and deductions from our question directions, let's now look at the table. Now, if you look at the table, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people who do not have a blank answer in their answer key. So these people use a single source. Okay, now most of these people use a single source. However, if you look at P, S, and V, if you look at them, they only have one wrong answer, and they do not have any blank answers. So that means P, S, and V, one incorrect answer, no blanks. So that means they had the original correct source, which in fact was under the DON. So the DON gave out the original answer key to P, S, and V, and they got this answer from that single source, and they made their own answer keys. So P made question 46 incorrect, S made question 17 incorrect, and V made question 25 incorrect. Well, so far so good. So we have eliminated P, S, and V. Now, in order to better record what's going on, let's create a new table. Okay? So let's start from X, W, V, U, T, S, R, Q, and finally P. So these are the people who made the key. Now if you look at the wrong answers from that table, you get 46, 96, 27 and 56, 17, 46 and 90, 14 and 46, 25, 46 and 92, and finally for X, 27. Now if you had the blank answers, if you look at that column, P does not have any blank answers, Q has 46, 90, and 25, X has 17, 46, and 90, S does not have any blank answers, T does not have any blank answers, U has questions 92 and 90 as blank, V does not have any blanks, W does not have any blanks, X has 17, 46, and 90 as blanked. So essentially what we're doing is we're going to add a fourth column which says source, and for P, S, and V, we have concluded that the DON, the original answer key, was the source for these three answer keys. So the DON gave his answer key to these three people in order to create an answer key with a single source. And they made their own wrong answers, 46, 17, and 25. All right. Now, if you look at the table again, well, so we finished off 3 blanks. The only other blanks here are T and V. Now, if you look at both T and V, you can see that question number 46 is given as a wrong answer there. However, if you can see, they do not have any blanks. So that means they use one source. However, they have the same wrong answer. That's question number 46. So therefore, they had to have a source which used question number 46 as incorrect, and that means that the source for the source for T and W was P. So for T and W, their source was P, because we were able to see that the same question number, that is 46, was made incorrect. Now, since we found out that their source was P, then this means that T made question number 90 incorrect, and W made question number 92 incorrect. All right. W is responsible for 92. And in our bigger graph, we can give P as the source for both T and W. Now, does that mean that we've finished off with single sources? Not quite. However, now we'll be looking at the other 6, answer keys, and we will be finding out their sources and which of them contributed to a wrong answer. So first of all, let's look at Q. Now, if you look at Q, it made a wrong answer, that's 96. So since there's one wrong answer, we can assume that Q made question number 96 wrong. However, if you look at its blank answers, you can see that 46 is incorrect, 90 is incorrect, as well as 25 is incorrect. So, what does that mean? Well, if you look at it, you can see that answer key number T had 46 and 90 as their wrong answers, and V had 25 as its wrong answer. Now, if you look at it, if T had 46 and 90 as wrong, and V had them as correct answers, then they would be not identical, so they would be given as blank. Similarly, 25 is wrong in V. It might have been correct in T, so therefore the blank, it goes under the blank. So from here we can identify that the source for Q was T and V. So Q had 46, 90, and 25 as blank. So therefore, its source was T and V. So Q is one of those people who used 2 sources. Now, the contribution of Q, as we've seen, is that it made question number 96 incorrect. Alright, so now we've found out P, S, V, T, and W, as well as Q. Now let's look at some other, question papers, answer keys. Now if you look at R and R and X, now both of these answer keys had the wrong answer. One of the wrong answers was given as 27. And if you look at their blanks, you can see that they had the same blanks. So this gives us 2 possibilities. First of all, if you look at X, X had, 17, 46, as well as 90. All of these were blank. So that means its source was S and T. So from S and T, it created the sources. I mean, it created the answer key. And therefore, we also know that number 27 was made incorrect by X. Similarly, if you look at R, R's source was X because of the same wrong and blank answers. So the contribution of R is it made question number 56 incorrect. Now, if you look at Q, the sources of Q were T and V. The source of R is X, and the sources of X were S and T, which means there's only one key left, that's U. So if you look at U in our original table, now U has 14 and 46 as incorrect. Now, since 46 is incorrect, it means that P had to be one of its sources. Next, if you look at the blank answers, we had 92 and 90. And if you look at the other keys for wrong answers, you can see that P had 46 incorrect. We also see that W has 46 as incorrect. So W, took its source from, W took its source from P. T took its source from P as well, so they have the same wrong answer. Now you can see U having the same wrong answer, and it also had blanks as 92 and 90. So T had 90 incorrect, so probably that clashed with W, so it was given as blank. Similarly, 92 was made wrong by W, so therefore it was given as blank because, T maybe had the correct answer. So what does this mean? This means that for U, its sources were T and W, and its contribution was that it made question 14 incorrect. So this is our final table. We added the sources to each of these keys, and we also found out which maker of the answer key was responsible for which error. So, having done that, let's look at our first question. Who among the following must have two sources? Now, people who must have two sources are those who had blank answers. So basically, those are Q, R, U, and W. Now, technically, it's actually Q, U, and X, because if you look at the source, then you can see that Q has T and V, U has T and W, X has S and T. So those are the three, people who must have used two sources. Now, over here, if you look at the options, you can see that option B is the only correct answer here, because that's the only one of the people from the three people that we have who are known to have used two sources. So therefore, option A, P is incorrect, option C, R is incorrect, option D, S is incorrect. P uses the DON, R uses X, and S uses the DON as well. So therefore, option B is the right option. Question number 2. How many people, excluding the DON, needed to make answer keys before R could make his answer key? Now, let's look at the table. The source of R is X. The source of X is S and T. Now, T had P as its source. S had its source directly from the DON. Now, if you were to draw a tree representing the number of answer keys that need to be present, the DON will come first. However, he's not included. The DON gave birth to P, S, and V, their answer keys. Now, P gave birth to T, answer key, and S and T both gave birth to X's answer key, and X gave birth to R's answer key. So as you can see, we would need the creation of P, S, T, and X's answer sheets before you can create R's answer sheet. So therefore, we would need 4 answer keys, excluding the dons, in order to make R. So therefore, option B4 turns out to be the right option. None of these is incorrect. 6 is a lot higher, and 3 is also not true, because we need P to create T, and we need S and T to create X. So that's a total of 4 answer keys. So therefore, the right answer is option B4 for question number 2. Question number T. Both T and W were sources too. So we know that T and W were sources to a particular key. We need to find out which one. If you look at the table, you can see that T and W are the sources for the answer key of U. So therefore, option A, U, turns out to be the right option. Option B, X, is incorrect because the sources for X were S as well as T. If you look at Q, its sources were T and V. And none of these is incorrect because we know that U has T and W. So therefore, option A, U, turns out to be the right option. Now, next question. This involves finding out which of these statements are true. Now, the first statement says, option A says, R introduced the wrong answer to question 27. Okay. Now, if you look at our notes, let's find out who really introduced question 27. We know that R is a source of X, and R's introduction was question 56. X actually created 27 as wrong. So therefore, this option is incorrect. 27 was created by X, and R created 56 as incorrect answers. Now, the next question. T introduced the wrong answer to question 46. Now, we know that 46 is actually created by P. You can refer my notes to see that. So over here, P, S, and V were created from the dawn, so P created 46 as incorrect. Now, if you look at T, T is actually the originator of 90. So as you can see, our second statement, option B, is also incorrect. 46 was created by P, and T gave birth to 90. That also means that option D is incorrect because 46 is again created by P. However, it says W introduced it, whereas in fact, W introduced 92. So therefore, option D is incorrect. The right answer is option C. U introduced the wrong answer to question 14. And if you look at our notes again, U's sources were T and W, and therefore it had 46 as the wrong answer from both of them. However, it created 14 all by itself. So therefore, option C, U introduced the wrong answer to 14, is the right option. Now let's look at the final question. Which of these two groups have the same sources? Now, group 1 consists of P, S, and V. Group 2 consists of T and W. Now, if you look at P, S, and V, you can see that all of them had the dawn as their source. So therefore, the first group had the same sources. Now let's look at the second group, T and W. Now, T and W both needed to use P as a single source. So therefore, T and W also use the same sources. Now here we're not talking about the two groups having to use one complete source. We're talking about these three people using one source and these two people using another. So therefore, the right answer is option C, both 1 and 2. only one and only two are incorrect, because if you were to choose those options, then it would imply that the other group would be incorrect, which is not the case. So option D, none of these is incorrect, because we know that both of them have used same sources amongst each other. So therefore, option C, both 1 and 2, is the right option. So that concludes this episode of IIFT Insights. We hope you found this episode interesting. For more of our useful and interesting content, don't forget to subscribe to Agile Rank Mate, your partner in education. If you want to get the latest updates about our channel regarding IIFT or any other entrance examinations or one of our other videos, then please don't forget to hit the bell icon present below the video and set it to all. So until the next webisode, take care, stay alert, bye-bye for now.